All right, Shalom. All right, let me get straight into this lesson, but I'm going to show you how the southern kingdom, the Israelites, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi actually looked right in the Bible. It's a physical description of how they look. So what you're looking at this picture right here is the Lachish relief, right? And you see how the Israelites is, how they look from the southern kingdom, right? So it's a lot of history right here. But you see how they look. They're not so-called white people. So let's get all into this lesson. So let's get all into this. And right here, you know, I've went into these scriptures before. Paul and Moses was mistaken for an Egyptian, right? So, and you can go look up the scriptures for yourself. I've done plenty of lessons on that. But I want to show you this real quick. So they got mistaken for an Egyptian, right? So that means, let's go to right here. This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. It says Ham, perhaps hot. It says the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. So the Most High destroyed everybody besides 8 people, Noah and his sons and his wives, right? But how he loved everybody. But that's a whole lesson for a whole nother day. It says he became the progenitor of the dog races, right? He became the progenitor of the dog races and not the Negroes, because it's a difference from a Hamite and a Shemite, right? It's a difference, right? From the so-called Egyptians, dog races, from the Ham descendants, and the Israelites, will be descended from Shem, right? It says, but the Egyptians, right? So the dog races, right? The dog races, one of the dog races was the Egyptians, right? So that's what Paul and Moses got mistaken for as in Egyptians in the scriptures. So if they weren't dog people, how would they ever get mistaken for these so-called Egyptians, right? That's another powerful point. But we know the Israelites, the southern kingdom, was dark skinned. Let me show you this in scripture, right? So let's go to Lamentations. So let me kind of give you an introduction to the book of Lamentations so you can have a backdrop of what it's talking about. Let's go here. Salakia. I think it's this one. 1 second. All right, so let me get into this. Wikipedia. It says the Book of Lamentations. The Book of Lamentations is a collection of poetic laments from the destruction of Jerusalem in 586 BCE. Right? It says right here at the top, the Book of Lamentations reveals Judah's pathetic condition following the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem, which occurred as a result of the people's sin and disregard for prophetic warnings, right? So this is talking about the southern kingdom, right? So let's go and see how they look, right? So the Jews, which they use this new word that they made up called Jew. We never called ourselves Jews. Jews is a new term, all right? It's the tribe of Yahweh. That's how you say it in the ancient Hebrew. That'd be the tribe of Judah, right? So you can't have a collective nation of Israel, right, without all 12 tribes. That's another point to understand. So let's go into the description of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin, because Benjamin and a remnant of Levites and some other, a remnant of other tribes will stand in the southern kingdom, if you know the history, right? So let's go into how they look, right? So at the top, distress of the siege described, right? So let's go down to Lamentations 4 and 8. Now it's talking about the tribe of Judah, right? So matter of fact, let's go prove that more. Let me go back to Lamentations chapter 1. Then I'll jump back there. Lamentations 1 and 3. Judah is going into captivity. So who is it talking about? The southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and the remnant of Levi is going into captivity because of affliction, because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. Right. So let's go back to this Lamentations 4:8. So you got the context. It's talking about the southern kingdom. Right. So it's gonna give a description how they look. Lamentations 4:8. It says their visage is blacker than coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It's become like a stick. So they was famished, right? And they was very dark, right? Because dark skinned. Let's go to this better read on in Lamentations 4:8 for the scoffers, right? Lamentations 4:8. So this giving you a description of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin and Levi, how they looked, right? They weren't so-called white people, right? It says Lamentations 4:8. The new Salakia, New Living Translation. This thing is kind of tripping out. It says, now their faces are blacker than soot. No one recognizes them in the streets. Their skin, now they visage mean a face. That's what the word visage mean. Their faces are blacker than soot. Let's go to this term soot. Right? What is that? Dark. Right? So they was dark brown, very dark brown. Right? Let's go back here. So this is the physical description of the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So these couldn't have been so-called white people. Read that again. Lamentations 4:8. Their visage is blacker than coal. Who is the visages talking about? All right. The Judites, Benjamin and Levi. They are not known in the streets, and their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered and become like a stick. Let's build up on this. Let's go here. Pull another scripture. Lamentations, right? 5. Salakia. One second, Salakia. Right? This is the book of Lamentations 5 and 10. Let's go to it. It says, our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Right? So their skin tone was black like they've been burned in the oven. So let's go to a different read on that. Right? Lamentations 5 and 10, New Living Translation. It says the famine has blackened our skin, right? As though baked in the oven. So when you put something in the oven and you burn it, it's gonna turn dark, right? So they go to show you that the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, was so-called black people, right? This right here in the scriptures. It says Lamentations 5 and 10, our skin was black like an oven. Their skin was black, dark, like they'd been burned in the oven, right? That's what they're saying, right? So let me go show you something real quick. So this is the physical description of the southern kingdom, right? And just another point I want to make, right? So this is when the Israelites was in captivity, our people was in captivity into Egypt, and you see how they look, brown to dark skinned people, right? So if you've been in the sun for a extended amount of time, it's gonna darken you, right? So-called white people cannot be in the sun for an extended amount of time without getting severely sunburned. Let me show you that. Right? Look at this. No way. So this all a lie. Right here. This all a lie. And even I did a lesson on this. Even in this movie, The 10 Commandments, right, which is an indoctrination movie that the Small Hatters created, right? You see that he has brown makeup on. His skin is a tan to it. And when you look at him in like in a, in real life or whatever, outside of this movie, he's a pale, pinkish, reddish so-called white man. And you can see right here, this guy too got makeup on, brown makeup. Their skin is visibly tan because they know that the Israelites were so-called black people, right? You just don't know. And going back here, this is the Lachish reliefs, and you see them so-called black men, braids, cornrows, right, bushy beards, right? These are the true Jews. And this was during Let me show you something. And then I can hit many more scriptures that's why Yahweh Shai, you know what I'm saying, when the John the Revelator saw him, right, he had feet like as he'd been burned in the furnace. He was a dark skinned man. 1 second, let me let this load up. 1 second. All right, so that's the Lachish reliefs, right? It says the Lachish or Lachish reliefs are a set of Assyrian palace reliefs narrating the story of the Assyrian victory over the kingdom of Judah during the siege of Lachish, right? So they didn't siege Jerusalem, right? You know what I'm saying? They didn't take over. They didn't sack the whole kingdom. They just took over a lot of towns that was in the territory of the southern kingdom, right? But they didn't sack the southern kingdom entirely, right? Let me see. All right, this Sennacherib plundered the city of Lachish, and forced many of the surviving inhabitants to live in Assyria, right? So that's a whole nother lesson for a whole nother day. But I want to go into these images that's in the British Museum, right? Right here. And these are so-called black men, bushy hair, right? Let's go to this one. Right? Bushy hair, so-called black men. Look at this one. Right? So everybody that's got some kind of scholarly understanding know that the Southern Kingdom, the real Jews were so-called black people. Right? Look at this, another one. Right? It's very obvious. And let me show you this as well before I close it out. So we know that the Southern Kingdom was so-called black. That means that this was the tribe of Judah and Benjamin. That means King David, because King David was from the tribe of Judah. He was a so-called black man. King Solomon was a so-called black man. I mean, Yahweh Shah was a so-called black man. It goes on down that genealogy, right, of the tribe of Judah, right? And it's something that you're not gonna never see in mainstream so-called white supremacy media, right? But it's here, right? Let's go back to some of these images. But Judah right here, I was going to show you this timeline, this um, genealogy, right? So Judah, right, down to Jesse, down to David, down to King Solomon. All these were so-called black men, right? So let me go back here. And again, this would be the true depiction of the Israelites, right? This actually is a true relief, right? A true thing that I'm telling you. I'm not making none of this up, but the scriptures just prove my point. All right, hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Hala Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rachat Kodash. Shalom.